Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakach, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up. It's from End Time Headlines, and the brother Anah posted this into the group. And so I took note of it and decided it needs a lesson. Or Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai decided that it needs a lesson. But what it says is the CEOs of Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's warn that store shelves all over America could soon be empty. And they really could be. If these trade wars or tariff wars keep going on, that could really happen. And we understand that the elite are trying to set up their NWO, their New World Order. And so they're trying to move from this age to an age of technocracy. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing America basically going out of business. We're seeing this economy tank. And it's still not completely felt. The ramifications of this are they'll be felt a little bit later, and you can already feel it in some cases. It says, if you are going to need anything made in China, I would buy it now while you still can. And it's sound advice, especially things like medical supplies and different things around the house, as well as even appliances. Go ahead and get it now before prices go up, in which this whole thing could just go away eventually and things kind of return back to normal. But it's prophetic for Babylon's economy to crash, Babylon being America. And so, yeah, it makes some sense to go ahead and get things that you might need down the road, go ahead and get them now. But the Lord's going to take care of us. It says many companies have already decided that it no longer makes any economic sense to import Chinese-made products into the United States because tariff rates are so high. And so this is going to increase the consumer price, the price that these items are to the consumer. It says as a result, there are certain things that will soon no longer be available to U.S. consumers. On Monday, when I posted an article warning about empty shelves in the months ahead, some people thought that I was exaggerating. It's not an exaggeration. This could happen. It says, but of course, the truth is that I was not exaggerating at all. On Tuesday, the CEOs of Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's specifically warned President Trump that store shelves all over the country could soon be empty during a meeting at the White House. CEOs of those companies named, all of whom delivered a blunt message about interruptions in the supply chain and its effects on consumers, were invited to the White House as part of an ongoing internal campaign to make the case to Trump about the real-world impact of his policies, administration officials said. And it does seem that Trump is capitulating or flinching at these policies that he put up. And China said that they're not even going to talk about it because America's just bringing confusion. And that's what Babylon does, because it is the land of confusion. But Trump's tariffs have placed significant pressure on the retail sector. The business leaders warned that store shelves across America could soon be empty. Two people familiar with the meeting said, as they presented a dire economic picture that could come into sharper view within weeks. And America gets all of its products from China. And it would cost significantly more for America to make some of these smaller products. This is going to hurt consumers. It's going to hurt America. So those CEOs are not bluffing. Our biggest retailers normally import massive amounts of goods from China, so most things come from China. And there's no easy short-term way to replace their production. And it would take years and years to get production actually going and for it to be efficient and cost-effective. It says, according to Axios, the CEOs flat out told Trump, the prices aren't going up, They're steady right now, but they will go up. They also told President Trump that shelves will be empty if current tariff levels persist. I'm so glad that President Trump is getting input from these CEOs. That is very important. But yeah, you're watching the downfall of our enemies with Babylon and the Edomites, because the Edomites control Babylon, are the biggest enemies to the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And they have been completely adverse to the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, with the Edomites that run Babylon being the so-called white men, the small hatters that claim to be the Lord's people. The Lord hates them, and he is throwing them down in a grand fashion. But I also had this other article. This popped up on my phone the other day. But also, Goodwill is shutting down multiple locations and firing staff. Basically going into, says the chain thrift store built itself on the idea of helping out the community by taking in good quality donations. They are able to employ the disabled, veterans, and other people in need. It was designed as a nonprofit solely to do good. But the economy is changing drastically in the U.S. and has been for a number of years. Wallets are tighter than ever before, and people simply don't donate to Goodwill as much as they used to. And because they're having to keep these clothes, having to keep things a lot longer to where it's not good enough for Goodwill. And I remember, or resell these clothes as it goes on to say, but I remember back in the 2020 stuff, they said they were getting too many donations, and now they're not getting enough donations because they had stopped even taking them in, at least around my area in Atlanta, and now they're not taking in enough to keep the doors open. But all this is just going into the decline and fall of Babylon and what's going to happen, how the Lord's bringing this place down. This is 2 Ezra 16 and verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. These are things that to correct yourself. These are warnings that the Lord's giving so that change can occur. But most people aren't spiritually inclined enough to pick these things up. But these are ways the Lord's going to eventually destroy this place as well. It says, but for all these things they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So you could see what's on the horizon and see these scourges that are sent, because we do have higher egg prices and higher food prices and general stress within this world, but people aren't turning to the true power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Nor do they understand why these things are happening. They're just blind to it and keep on going. They enjoy being in darkness and in wickedness. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, and they are currently. They're still, you could go out and buy a $400 flat screen 65-inch TV. Things are cheap. Most people are still eating every day. It says that they shall think themselves to be in good case. They think these things can just pass over, but they're not. And it says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword. So going into the different wars that are going on around the earth, and we're already hearing of more wars and rumors of wars, and there's actual skirmishes going on. Famine. We're seeing for the last few years, we've been seeing these different factories and plants that produce food get burnt up or get some disease to where they have to shut down. These things can all go into famine, and with the tariffs as well, because that could just raise prices, and there could eventually even be embargoes to where ships don't come in and out. This will cause famine. And it says, and great confusion. And we're in the land of confusion in Babylon. And this confusion is just increasing because that's what it does. It grows like cancer. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So people are going to die of starvation. It's going to be miserable. And then people are also going to be breaking into one another's houses and killing each other, as well as the wars that are going to be happening with the civil wars, the race wars, and World War III. There's going to be a lot going on, a lot of ways to die. It says, "And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down." And this is all for the wickedness of the people. And the wickedness has already been here. The Lord is giving mercy and a chance to return to Him, but most people aren't going to take it. We know that 2/3 of the Israelites will not make it to the kingdom alive. And we know that the Lord's bringing punishments against the heathen. So these are things that are on the horizon. And we're seeing the talk of it. We're seeing the analysts speak of this. We're seeing the CEOs talk about empty shelves. These things are coming. And Lord will they come soon, because we need a world, an earth with order. Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1. "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth." So now, when you're young, it says, "While the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh." Before all these bad times come, evil goes into bad times. "When thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them," because when you can't eat and feed your family, there's not going to be any pleasure within this earth. It says, "While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain." So now, while you could get the truth of the matter, so you're not in that great confusion that is just increasing, you want to get the truth. And the apostles and elders are out now. The famine of the word has not occurred yet, but it is on the horizon. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble." And economics goes into housekeeping. So these analysts are seeing what's coming, and they see the future is not bright. They're trembling. They're shaking in their boots. And it says, "And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease," the grinders being the jobs, "because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." Because there is no future, no hope for this place. And it says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low," and these jobs are low, because they don't have anything on the shelves to sell. And then people aren't going to have jobs to buy things. It's just all around bad time for the world. And the Lord said it's going to be a time of trouble such as never been before. It says, "And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird so early in the morning, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." And we've been seeing that for a very long time at this point, because music stinks. And so, Lord willing, that article is edifying, and this has been edifying. So, try to get things that you need now. But ultimately, the Lord is going to take care of His elect. His elect shall eat and be merry and laughing in these times. But the rest of the earth will mourn, especially with nothing on the shelves. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, all praise, all honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, and shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.